Okay, so now we're over here at the Assumptions tab. This is our staffing assumptions, where we're going through this and we're saying, okay, we're going to need number of techs per CSR. So I'm going to need, if I have 6 techs, I'm going to need a CSR, a 100% full-time hat wearing the CSR hat. Okay, that's if I have 6 techs. Now, if I have number of CSRs to hire a manager, if I have 8 CSRs, I should have a CSR full-time manager. All they're doing is managing CSRs. Okay, so you're going to find here that we're going to need portions of people in our staffing level from our model. If we go back to our revenue build tab, we're using this revenue build tab. So here is our technician staffing model right now. So that's telling us, okay, I basically need 1 full-time CSR for these 6 technicians, 3, 2, and 1, right? So, and that's what the staffing model is. If this staffing model said per 8, let me unprotect the view here for a second. If that said per 8, I thought I was going to unprotect the view here. Now I have. Per 8, you can see that that went down to 0.75. So the staffing model is set at 6. I do recommend that you do keep the staffing models here. The coaches have looked at this and they've given it a pretty good sanity check. So I'm not saying it's gospel, but it's a pretty good sanity check. If you do want to change any of this, please speak with your coach and run it by, and let's talk it through first, okay? So as you go through here, these assumptions have been made for each position. So for a dispatcher, number of techs for a dispatcher, I need 9 for a full-time 100% dispatcher. All they do is dispatch, okay? Now that scales up. We've also got this dispatch piece scaled up in here. So you'll see how that goes if you have more technicians. Let's just take another one. Let's say an install manager. Okay, so for every 15 installers, I need a 100% full-time installer. But right now I need 13% of an install manager because I have basically 2 install crews. I've got one here and I've got one here. So I don't really need a full-time manager doing 100% of everything today. Focus on the manager's hat in that department, but I do need a portion of that hat filled still. So somebody has to pick that up, and we're going to take you through the next tab of, well, a couple tabs down the road, who's going to pick that up and how you're going to disseminate who picks that up. But basically it's saying that you have 4.79 hats that need to be worn here in this company. Inside, 4.79 hats need to be worn in a company that has this structure of 6 technicians and 2 installers. So that's 8 field people. Okay. Now, if this changed, let's just take a look at that. If you're 100% service company, right, and you had 8 people, that 4.79 is going to change. And let's just give you that demonstration here. I take the installers out and I just add another Billy, and then I add Jody. I think Jody Peter can run a service truck, I'll bet. Okay, so now I've got 8 service technicians. Now, what is that staffing model going to look like now? That 4.7 went to 5.3. It takes a little bit more overhead to run service than it does installation. So let's just go back there and look at the revenue. The revenue dropped. It was $3.5 million before. Okay? And because it's all service revenue, it's at $2 million. So we lost, $2 million in production with those installers. Let's go back now. Let's just say you're do nothing but install. And I'm only doing this as to show you how the program works. Okay? And let's just go back there and put in Jimmy, Joey, Bobby. Okay, and then down here you're putting in Charlie and Frankie. Frank calls everybody has an E on the end of it, so I got to do that. Okay, so now you got a $6.3 million business, and you have only got, let's say you've got, 3 service techs. You only need 4.6 folks, because installation takes less overhead to manage than service does. Okay, so let's go back to the original model here. I want to screw it up. Too bad already. And let's just do that. Clear the content there. How many texts did we have here? Charlie, I don't even remember now. Let's see if that's right. That's 10. Oh, I don't have these crews down here. Clear the content. Okay, so now we're back at it, and we're at $3.5 million. So let's go back to that assumption, and we need 4.79 staffing level. So you can see that different companies, it doesn't matter what the revenue is, depending on your staff. It's the type of work you're doing is going to be dependent upon what your staff is going to look like. So I want you to keep that in mind, and that's all based off of these assumptions over here. Okay, and then this kind of will show you how much of the owner is wearing, his activity is going to be in wearing some of these hats, and how much the overhead staff is going to be wearing some of these hats. And we'll give you a ratio of that and say, do you need more staffing? Well, right now you need more staffing because we don't have anybody filled in here. So it's going to tell you need more staffing, or it's about right, or you got too much staff. It'll actually tell you that here. Okay, so that is the staffing assumption tab. And we'll go on now to the position pay tab.